this video, we're going to be checking and replacing a valve diaphragm for this anti-siphon valve that is stuck open. At the valve manifold, you want to identify what valve it is. In this case, it's this far left one here. We'll start by checking the solenoid and the bleed screw to make sure they're closed. If your zone is still stuck open, then go ahead and turn off the main line. Turn it off slowly, making sure you don't get any water hammer or anything like that. We're going to be unscrewing the valve bonnet to get access into the diaphragm assembly. Here I have my Ryobi driver. I'm going to turn it to the lowest setting. Don't want to break any screws. Grab my bit. Throw that on there with the extension on there. Go ahead and start to take those screws off. Initially you're going to get some resistance because your driver's set on the lowest setting, but just go ahead and proceed slowly. Try to remove the screws in some type of star pattern just to get even displacement. You'll see that I'm only removing the screws about 20% or so till I get them all a little loose, and then after that I'll proceed to take them out entirely. Once you get all the screws out and that bonnet's loose, go ahead and place it on the side somewhere. Just carefully not to lose the screws. You want to then go ahead and remove the spring and the valve diaphragm. I'm going to take a quick look inside this valve just to see if there's any rocks or anything in there. Make sure it's all cleaned out. Quickly inspect the valve diaphragm and just make sure there's no obvious rips or debris or anything like that. Here I'm going to flip it to the underside, and right away we notice that rock that's lodged in there. I'm going to take that rock out and you'll see the very obvious indent in there. That's going to create pressure displacement, and that valve will never seal. Once it's on, it'll stay on and just doesn't work, so we'll need to replace that. Go ahead and turn the water on for a couple seconds, let that flush out. Hopefully we get any rocks and dirt, sand, anything out. Close it up. Now here's the diaphragm with a hole in it, and here's the new one, perfectly fine. Here we're going to align the diaphragm solenoid port with the port on the valve assembly itself. Get that nice and tight in there, and then go ahead and put the spring back in there. And grab your bonnet and put it back in there, carefully aligning everything, making sure it's nice and fit before you proceed to throw the screws on. Hold down the bonnet with one hand and just hand tighten the screws till they catch. That way it's easier to screw, and you know you're not going in and you're not going to strip the rubber part that holds the actual screw inside the valve assembly. Grab your driver and just slowly screw those back in there. Again, going about 80%, leaving that last 20%. And go in a star pattern. You can then proceed to screw those in 100%, very slowly, carefully. Again, try not to break any screws. You don't need so much strength or too much pressure on them. Once you're done, just give it a quick check, see if that bonnet moves. If it doesn't, you're fine. Go ahead and turn the water back on slowly. Let that main line fill in. Once it's full, you can just open it the whole way. Yeah, at first glance, the valve is shut off. Obviously, we try to turn the water off. Now we're going to turn it on manually. Valve turns on. Now we're going to manually shut it off to see if that valve closes. There you go. For more videos like this, check out our YouTube channel or check us out online at www.landpronet.com.